that is America Chamber of Commerce right here in Kenya. But now we continue. Now, in a bid to reduce budgetary pressure, the National Treasury, in a circular to state corporations, has undertaken fiscal consolidation measures aimed at ensuring prudent utilization of the public resources. And here are some of the measures. As you can see on your screen, every state corporation is required to submit its 2024 to 2025 financial year recurrent expenditure budget. No new projects without approvals from the National Treasury. Provide 80% tax for payment of dividends beginning 2023 to 2024 financial year, remit 90% of surplus funds as provided for in law, and remit monies in addition to approved budget. Now we're going to move on also and look at another kind of the regulations that have been put in place. Cease revision of the approved expenditure budget, cease paying individuals or corporate club subscriptions, stop production of corporate branded merchandise, onboard all revenue collections into the platform, e-platform, and finally update financials on GIMIS. Right, those are some of the regulations when it comes to the state corporations and what they intend to do in order for them to move forward. They were more than that. So that is what we could get at this time. There are 10 of them, and you can look at that even as we continue. All right, we are getting to our second conversation of the day, where we are talking about data connectivity, internet connectivity across the globe. And joining us is Farouk Ramji, who is the CEO of Mawingu. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so when you talk about internet connection, I believe everywhere in Kenya right now, everyone who has a smartphone or who can access a cyber cafe, they're able to connect to the internet. But of course, there are other people who really find it difficult to do this, maybe in the rural areas, in the remote, very remote areas where internet cables are not really fixed there. So in terms of connectivity, are we at 100% or even 90%?
So when we look at connectivity, we look at the statistics from the CA report that was recently published. To give us a bit of a broader view, there are over 50 million Kenyans in this country. There are about 12 million homes. There are only about 1 million connected. So we've got 11 million homes that are unconnected. And our objective is to come in and provide meaningful access. Meaningful, in our definition, has two key definitions. One is the affordable aspect of it. If the data price is too high, then we're not achieving our goals. And the second aspect is quality. Are they able to fulfill their needs with accessing the internet?
Right. And also, even as we speak about connectivity, when it comes to data connectivity, in terms of using the internet, how do you make sure that someone's personal information is not accessible to cyber threats? Because cyber threats are really one of the major issues, especially when it comes to internet. So therefore, how does the measures in security come in terms of making sure that someone's data is safe?
Yeah, so excellent question. I think data privacy is of extreme importance to us and I think to the industry in general. So one, we limit the type of information that we need to collect from our customers. We make sure that we're KYC compliant with our regulators. After that, our data is stored in a safe and secure manner with our customers. We do not preview any information to any external parties, and we make sure that we keep our customers safe at all times.
All right, and now let's move forward and look at how Kenya is connected and how other countries are connected, and what can we pick from other countries. I believe you have traveled and you've seen what other countries are doing. What is it that Kenya is doing that maybe we could pick from some people or some countries out there, or what is it that other countries could pick from what Kenya is doing in terms of internet connectivity?
So let's look at our neighbors first, right? When we look at our closest neighbor being probably Tanzania, Tanzania has got, with the statistics I just gave you, they've got about 14 million homes and only 300,000 connected. So Kenya is slightly in advance to our neighbors in Tanzania. I think what we can do is a collective group coming together. It's looking at this from a policy perspective, is looking at this from a tax perspective, and looking at what the industry can contribute. I think that there is a huge barrier on price. If this price can be brought down and private companies are able to show margins, then we can further expand our reach to harder reach areas in Kenya. So for example, today Mawingu's in 28 counties across the country. My goal is to try and get to 40, but to break that barrier down, we need to come together as a collective group.
All right, even as we speak about the pricing, let us look at some of the challenges. The other challenges that maybe, we just put aside pricing first and look at some of the other challenges, the logistical challenges that are there in terms of trying to reach to people, in terms of trying to reach in different areas within different counties, because I believe you've said 28 counties. One county, the way you would reach people is not the same way you would reach in a different county. So how do you make sure that these gaps in terms of connectivity in different areas are really sealed at the end of the day?
That's a great question. So let me try and answer it on the inverse first. I think one approach that we can use that's similar throughout is a community approach. We were able to expand to more than 16 counties in 2023 alone. And our model is to sit down with the community leaders. We need to sit down with them. We need to explain to them what is Mawingu and what are we doing? What is the impact to your community? How can we empower these communities with access to the internet? We're all about inclusion. And we believe if you can get access to the internet, we can really benefit your lives. So our towers, our infrastructure in these regions is all kept safe by the community. So they are very strong advocates for Mawingu. So I think that's something that we can replicate throughout. The difficulty comes in is access to data. I think we support the government's agenda of rolling out 100,000 kilometers of fiber, because with that access, we can also pick up and provide last mile access to those underserved and unserved communities.
All right, and now, as you also move in counties, some of the partners that you're working with, how do you make sure that at least you come to the same level field in terms of now you trying to reach to different areas within the county? And I believe you're working with the county governments. How does this work?
So one, we've got strong partnerships with all the major players in the telecom market. What Mawingu does is we handle the connectivity from the base station down to the customer level. So from that perspective, we do connect a lot of the county offices. We actually have just recently registered Mawingu.org, which is a company limited by guarantee, so it's a not-for-profit. And some of the TVETs within the counties we're actually also connecting. So we believe it's a very strong partnership that has to be worked on all avenues, including the schools, including government offices, including the homes and small businesses that are all operating.
All right, let me just speak your mind a bit, especially when it comes to data and internet. When do you think Kenya, one time, will be like maybe a different country where we have internet everywhere where you go, even under if you go to the basement, the internet is still there? Do you think there is a day that we'll ever reach there? And if we'll ever reach there, from where you sit and your expertise, what do you think needs to be done in order for us to reach to such levels?
I think that's our aspiration. That's our dream. That's something that we would strive for, and that's something that we're supporting on the agenda to get to. What do we need to get there? I think we need to work together. I think it's various industries, right? You can't have internet without access to power. So providing grid connectivity across the country. Without access to roads, we can't supply our equipment. So it's multi-sector approach to deliver this. But the idea is that we must not get confused with having all 50 million Kenyans being able to access the internet. We must be able to do it in an affordable manner. I think this is my key underlying point. If we can do it in an affordable manner with quality access, then I think you will see the entire company leapfrog in terms of our economic situation. Because for us, what we believe in is opening opportunities for people. When you access the internet, you access the world.
Right. Even as we come now to a conclusion of this conversation, going forward, when you look at data and the connectivity, how are we as a country going to make sure that at least at the end of the day, we have achieved something from this, we've made it affordable? You've spoken about affordability. How do we achieve this going forward?
I think we all have to come together. I think all the private sector and the public sector need to sit around a table. I think we need to support, I think the government's agenda is the correct one. Providing fiber, again, is a huge component. If there is dark fiber laid across this country, all of us from the ISP sector are able to latch onto that network and branch out. So it is a very strong partnership, but I think making sure that the agenda is clear, bringing all the various parties onto the same table is the biggest way for us to move forward.
Right. Thank you so much. That is Farouk Ramji, who is the CEO Mawingu, speaking to us about data connectivity. It's not a difficult thing, actually, to have all of us connected. So therefore, just look onto this and also make sure that at least you are connected. We're going to go for a short break, but when we come back, we're going to continue with a different kind of conversation where we're speaking about Mansa X, that is SIB Bank. So don't go too far.